How many people can say they love their jobs? If you dread waking up on Monday mornings to face your work week, you'll want to pay close attention to our next guest. Ed Muzio is the author of 4 Secrets to Liking Your Work. You may not need to quit to get the job you want. And he'll share tips that will help you remove the obstacles that are standing in the way of having a satisfying job. Hello there.
Hi, Tracy.
How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me here.
Thanks for being here. This is great because this is very encouraging for everybody.
I hope so.
Everybody's got some issues at work, but it's not like you have to throw in the towel, quit your job, and get out of there. You can actually modify.
Right. There are things you can do easily that will help right now today.
Fabulous. So you offer exercises that people can do to improve their work situation, making it a position and a place that they actually enjoy. You want to start walking me through some of the tips?
Sure.
Now, my first one that you have is, I will do something, anything, different.
Right. One of the things that we know is people sort of feel like they go to work and it's done to them. You know, they're beat up by the situation.
Victim.
The victim. That's exactly right.
Victim syndrome.
So we say, you know, go observe what's going on, pick something that's bothering you, see if you can figure out a different thing to try, and try it. Something safe, obviously, don't get yourself fired, but if you can, you'll regain the feeling of control, and also you'll get information. Either it will help or it won't, and either way you learn something, and you started to take back control of the situation.
Again, to eliminate the victim syndrome, or just complaining, saying this person, start to stand back and take a look objectively.
It's a relationship, you and your job, and you want to take your part of it seriously. It's not just on someone else to fix it, you have to fix it as well. Yeah.
Perfect place to start, with yourself. I like that. Excellent. Now, what do you mean by I won't vilify people around me? What do you mean by that?
Well, you know, especially when things aren't great at work, it's easy to get by the water cooler and start talking about him or her or this and what they did to me.
Okay.
The problem with that, there are 2 problems. First of all, it reinforces that mentality of the victim, right? It's being done to me.
Right.
That's not great. But there's another problem, and that is that the person you're talking to, when they walk away, will start to wonder when you're going to talk about them. Are they next?
Exactly.
Right? And we know that in the complex workplace of today, the information flow is critical, and trust and relationships are a critical part of that. And so if you damage your credibility, you're damaging your ability to function, and that will make your experience worse. So you're actually hurting yourself by doing that.
Oh, right. Not necessarily hurting other people, hurting myself
It's hurting
as
yourself.
well.
It is. It's a practical, personal reason not to.
Wow. And again, the whole negativity trap. I know these days we're trying to stay positive. I know negativity and positivity are pretty much contagious.
Well, we do. We actually have research information that says that one person can bring a group up or down. We've all felt the down direction, you know, the bad apple kind of thing, but it happens the other way, and you can stay positive and bring up the group around you to some extent. Absolutely.
Great. So that would even be a perfect opportunity, number 1 and number 2 together, at the water cooler, if people are starting to talk negative, just jump in there and start changing the tune into something positive.
And you can do it subtle. You don't have to sort of be ridiculous about it, but you can say, you know, it's hard for me to understand why that person did that, but maybe they had a reason. You know, you can do things very subtly so that it's not that you're contributing, but you're not so far out of whack that you don't make sense to the people you're talking to.
Got it, got it. Okay, now, I will find my contribution. What do you mean by that?
You know, there's a story about the man who stood in front of the fireplace and said, yeah, I'll give you heat, or I'll give you wood as soon as you give me heat. And it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way at all.
You have to put something in. And we do at work sometimes, especially when we're unhappy, we say, you know, well, when they fix it, then I'll start getting serious. What we're saying here is you have to contribute something too. And if you can find a way to understand what your manager needs, what your company needs, and put something in while you're trying to get something out, you sort of open that relationship. It goes both ways.
Okay. So again, by figuring out what's motivating my boss, that's going to help really both of us.
You work for your boss. And whether you like your boss or not, if you can help further his or her objectives, that's good for you too.
And that'll make my life easier.
It will.
If their life is easier, so will
mine. You can't
mine.
possibly do a bad thing by making their life easier. That's right.
Got it. Okay. Now, I will interact on other people's terms. What do you mean by that?
Well, you know, there's a lot of research out there about communication and about making interactions work. And what we know is that, for example, if you and I are in a conversation and I have a stake in getting my message across, what I want to do is listen for a couple things. I want to listen to your pace, and I want to try and pace myself with you, go as fast or as slow as you are.
Got it.
I also want to listen to your focus, and if you are very much about the bottom line and the stuff, the tasks, I should go there. If you are very much about the people and the relationships, I should go there. It's not that I have to change my message, but if I can work on how I get my message to you. You've heard of the golden rule, you know, do unto others.
Of course.
We have the platinum rule, which is do unto others as they would have you do, which is a little different. And we say, let me give you what you need in terms of communication.
One step further, then.
Exactly. It may not be what I would want, but it's what you want, so let me give that to you, and that will help us exchange information.
So matching the communication style is really the best way to communicate.
Right.
So if I'm a fast talker or the other guy's a fast talker, start speeding it up.
Catch up, right. or slow down, because if we're not, and that's a good example, because if you're going very fast and I'm going very slow and we're not attentive to it, you're going so fast, you're thinking about me, well, he's just not that smart, right? He's not even there, right? And you're going so fast and I'm thinking about you, she's trying to put one over on me, she's trying to get something by.
Or not even listening
Not even listening, she's just blowing right through what I'm saying. Yeah, and it's just a pace difference. So if one of us will notice and adjust, it will help both of us.
Which is such a simple modification, really. And I really like that you said that I don't have to change my message. It's just about the communication style.
Right.
So we don't have to cave and buckle if we have something to say. It's just about how I'm saying it.
It's how you present it, right? I mean, if you need to have a fight, but argue over the content, not over the communication style. Don't try and get them to be you in terms of communication.
And it sounds like you're going to get a better result if the communication is on par.
We know you will, absolutely.
Really?
Right.
Awesome. Nice. Now, I will clarify my priorities and my needs with my boss. That's a great one.
Yeah, there's a thing about, the second worst thing in the world is to go to your boss and say, I can't do everything you've asked me to do. That's the second worst thing in the world.
Give me anxiety to say.
That's right. The worst thing in the world is to go to your boss and say, it turned out I didn't do everything you asked me to do. So if you're in a situation where you are probably not going to accomplish everything, the sooner the better you can go to your boss and say, look, this is all that's on my plate. I promise I'm trying. But if something didn't get done, what would be the right thing? So that if something gets dropped, it's at least not the highest priority thing. It's not the most important. Yeah.
I love that. So if they at least establish some kind of priority list, what really needs to get done first, and what maybe in the end, if I don't have time, can.
It has to be that way because there is a priority list, and if the boss won't tell you, it doesn't mean it's not there. So you have to elicit it.
So it's okay to go and say, I need help.
It is.
I'm not going to make it.
We don't like to ask for help, but the help also has another, asking for help has another impact, talking about the importance of relationships in the workplace. If I ask you for help, maybe you help me, maybe you can't, but that starts to build a bond of communication between us. You become part of my professional network, and we can help each other into the future, and that can be so critical as things get complicated.
A better team player.
Exactly.
In relationship.
Exactly.
I like that.
And that looks good to most management, too, appreciates that because they understand the work is so complicated. They like to see people working together and teaming. They'll ask for it sometimes. They don't always know what they're asking for, but that's the kind of thing they're asking for.
Trying to accomplish.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So really, don't be afraid to ask help.
Exactly.
So and don't be afraid. If I get the answer, we'll do it all anyway. What do I do with that one?
Sometimes you tell your manager, I can't do all of it, and they say, yes, we'll do it all anyway.
Figure it out.
And all you can really do is you can say, well, I appreciate that. Is there a place I can go for help? How might I resource this differently?
Okay.
What other ideas do you have? Because my goal is to do what you need, but if I can't, I can't, and if I can't, then what do we do? And
how else can I? Maybe we can pull somebody else in.
Anything, right? I mean, basically, you're sitting with them and solving the problem with them instead of being across the table and they say you will and you say I can't. That doesn't work. That does not work. Yeah.
So we want to work together.
Exactly.
Very
simple
nice.
stuff if you can do it.
It is pretty simple, but again, it's just paying attention to all that and then following through with it.
And it's all facilitated by good communication, good interaction, and doing things right in those interactions.